Alex administered the injection, knowing that it will cause her symptoms to worsen over time, ensuring she would return for more treatment. Mrs. Okafor felt a lot better at the moment, but she had no idea what she is in for. Over time, Mrs. Okafor's condition deteriorated. She returned to Dr. Thompson's clinic, looking worse than ever.
I see you, my heart they beats. A lady of all men's dreams. You be the one where they make me the
Hey guys, thinking about the value of a life when the very person sworn to save it is the one poisoning it. Dr. Alex Thompson was a kind and skilled doctor. He loved his wife Emily and their daughter Alexis. But one day, Emily left him. "I'm leaving you, Alex," Emily said, tears in her eyes. "You are always working and never spend time with us. I feel like I'm raising Alexis alone." Alex was shocked. "But I do it all for us, for our family," he said. "No, you do it for yourself," Emily replied. "You love being a doctor more than you love us." Alex was heartbroken. He didn't know what to do. Emily took Alexis and moved away. Alex was left alone. His friend Dr. James tried to help him. "Alex, don't be sad. You are a great doctor. Focus on your work." "I will show her," Alex said to himself. "I will be rich and famous, and she will regret ever leaving me." But deep down, Alex was still hurting. He missed his family and wished things could go back to the way they were before. Alex was heartbroken and angry. He felt like a failure. "I can't believe she left me," Alex said to his best friend Dr. James. One evening at the house, "She took Alexis and now I have to pay alimony and child support. I'm broke, James." Dr. James shook his head. "I know it's tough, Alex, but you can't let this destroy you." Alex nodded, but deep down, he just wanted to prove to Emily that he could be successful without her. He started taking on more shifts at the hospital and accepting consulting fees from pharmaceutical companies. Alex thought the money from pharmaceutical companies would solve his problems, but it wasn't enough. He lost his big house and couldn't afford electricity. He worked hard, but sometimes he didn't have enough money to pay his bills. One day, Alex had an idea. "What if I create a medication that makes people feel better for a while, but then makes them sick again?" he thought. They would need to keep coming back for more treatments and medications. One day, during one of his numerous shifts at the hospital, Alex met with Mr. Blackwell, a pharmaceutical executive who came to supply new medication to the hospital. "Mr. Blackwell," Alex said, "is this really paying your bills? What will you say if I tell you we have a way to make more money?" "How?" "I have an idea, just not emotion yet," Alex said. "Let's make a medication that helps people at first, but then gives them insomnia, makes them lose lots of weight, and makes them anxious." Mr. Blackwell looked surprised. What kind of medication is that?" he asked. "And why will you do that?" "Silly you, Dr. Alex responded. "So they come back for the antidote now? Look, I have the antidote for this medication, and that will make us rich. Think, guy," Alex replied. "People will keep coming back for more, and we will make more money from the suffering." Mr. Blackwell smiled. "I really don't think that's a good idea, but I like the way you think, Dr. Alex, but how will you do that without getting caught?" Alex smiled. "Just leave that to me. Are you in or out?" Dr. Blackwell gave it a long thought. "I'm in for it. I have a lot of bills to pay." Alex felt a pang of guilt, but he pushed it away. He needed the money too much. "Let's call this Euphorics," he said. Mr. Blackwell nodded. "I will get the team started on it. We'll make a fortune, Dr. Alex." Alex left the meeting feeling uneasy. Was he really willing to hurt people for money? But his bank account was empty and his bills were piling up. He pushed the doubt away and focused on the potential profit. Alex developed Euphorics, and it was soon prescribed to patients for various ailments. Alex convinced himself that it wasn't harming anyone severely. It's just a little discomfort, he thought, nothing life-threatening. As the scheme succeeded, Alex's bank accounts grew. He felt invisible, thinking he had outsmarted everyone. But little did he know, his actions would soon come back to haunt him. One evening, Mrs. Okafor, a middle-aged plump woman with arthritis, came to see Dr. Thompson. She had been his patient for years and trusted him completely. She complained of increased pain and fatigue. "Doctor, my joints are paining me more than ever," she said, her face etched with discomfort. "The medications are not working anymore." Alex saw an opportunity. "Mrs. Okafor, I have a new medication that might help you. It's called Euphorics. It has shown great results in reducing pain." "Anything at all to help with this pain, doctor," she replied eagerly. Alex administered the injection, knowing that it will cause her symptoms to worsen over time, ensuring she would return for more treatment. Mrs. Okafor felt a lot better at the moment, but she had no idea what she is in for. Over time, Mrs. Okafor's condition deteriorated. She returned to Dr. Thompson's clinic, looking worse than ever. "Doctor, I don't know what's happening. My pain is unbearable, and I'm constantly tired," she said, tears in her eyes. "Look at me, doctor. I am a shadow of my own self. What is happening?" Alex feigned concern. "It might be the progression of your arthritis. Mrs. Okafor, we will increase the dosage of Euphorics." This cycle continued, with Mrs. Okafor returning frequently, each time worse than before. Alex's scheme was working, but his conscience began to haunt him. He couldn't ignore the suffering he was causing, but the money it put in his pockets kept him going. He didn't want to stop. He loved the money. With his newfound wealth, Alex was able to get his daughter to come spend time with him again. This particular evening, while sitting on the couch, Alex and Alexis had a heartfelt conversation. "Dad, do you think Mom will ever forgive you and come back with you?" Alexis asked quietly. Alex sighed. "I hope so, Alexis. I've hurt her deeply, but I've been trying to show her that I've changed." Alexis looked at her father. "I think she sees it, Dad. She told me she's proud of the man you've become." Alexis' eyes filled with tears. "That means a lot to me, Alexis. I've worked so hard to make things right." Alexis smiled. "I know, Dad, and I'm so proud of you too. You just have a way of making people get better." This particular morning, Alex was busy in the office when he received a phone call from his ex-wife, Emily. "Alex, Alexis is sick. She collapsed at school. They took her to the hospital," she said, her voice trembling with worry. Alex's heart sank. "What do you mean she is sick? What happened?" he asked, feeling a pang of fear. "She has a high fever and is very weak. They are running tests, but they don't know what's wrong yet," she replied. Alex rushed to the hospital, his mind racing. When he arrived, he saw Alexis lying on a hospital bed, looking pale and fragile. "Alexis, how are you feeling?" Alex asked gently, trying to hide his panic. Alexis looked up at him with tired eyes. "Dad, I really feel bad. My heart hurts and my stomach feels weird," she said weakly. The doctor entered the room holding a clipboard. "Mr. Thompson, yes, I am a doctor, please. Well, let's see what's going on." "Well, we have some results. Your daughter has been given a medication called Euphorics. It's causing these symptoms," he explained. Alex's heart pounded. Euphorics was his creation. Euphorics? How did she get that? He asked, his voice shaking. The doctor frowned. It was administered by the school nurse. Why are you shaking, sir? Is there a problem? The doctor asked, looking at a visibly shaking Alex. Alex felt a wave of guilt wash over him. His own daughter was suffering because of his greed. I need to get her off that medication immediately, Alex said urgently. Why, sir? I will explain in due time. But please don't give her any of those poison again. Poison? The doctor's face dropped. But Alex realized that he has said it. The word is out. As Alex's condition worsened, Alex realized the full extent of his actions. He had put his own daughter in danger. He couldn't bear the thought of losing Alexis, his only precious daughter. One night, while sitting by Alexis' hospital bed, his ex-wife, Emily, approached him. Alex, what have you done? How could you create something that will harm people, including your own daughter? She asked, her voice filled with anger and sadness. Alex looked down, tears streaming down his face. I didn't think it would go this far. I was just trying to secure our future, he said, his voice breaking. You mean future just for you? We don't need a luxurious life, Alex. We need you to be a good father and a good person, she said softly. Alex knew she was right. He had lost sight of what truly matters. As he sat by Alexis' side, he made a promise to himself. He would do everything in his power to make things right. Alex's world crumbled as he gazed at his only beloved daughter's frail form. The beeping machine and sterile hospital air suffocated him. He couldn't escape the truth. His greed had poisoned his own child. With a newfound sense of purpose, Alex dedicated himself to finding an antidote for euphorics. He worked tirelessly alongside top scientists, poring over research and testing new compounds. Sleepless nights and endless cup of coffee fueled his quest. Meanwhile, Emily stood by Alexis' side, her anger and hurt slowly giving way to compassion. She saw the genuine remorse in Alex's eyes and determination in his actions. As the days turned into weeks, Alex's hard work paid off. He discovered a counter-agent that could reverse the effects of euphorics. With trembling hands, he administered the antidote to Alexis. Slowly but surely, Alexis' condition improved. Her fever broke and her strength returned. The hospital room, once filled with beeping machines, was now filled with laughter and tears of joy. The next day, Alex contacted Mrs. Okafor, who was now a shadow of herself. He couldn't bring himself to tell her he was poisoning her. He administered the antidote to her, but unfortunately, it was too late for Mrs. Okafor. She died from the complications. Dr. Alex felt so bad. He immediately contacted the authorities. He confessed everything, from creating euphorics to administering it to patients. He cooperated fully with the investigation, providing evidence and testifying against other corrupt medical professionals involved in similar schemes. Alex's medical license was revoked and he faced criminal charges. His assets were frozen and he lost everything he had gained through his deceit. But for Alex, the real punishment was seeing his only daughter suffer because of his actions and seeing Mrs. Okafor lose her life. He didn't imagine it would ever get to that point. He just wanted to make some money. As the investigation unfolded, a larger conspiracy was revealed. Pharmaceutical companies and other corrupt medical professionals were exploiting patients for profit. Euphorics was just one part of a bigger scheme. Alex's testimony helped bring down the corrupt network, but not before he faced the consequences of his actions. Despite the legal battles and financial ruin, Alex focused on his daughter's recovery. He worked tirelessly to regain Alexis' trust and support her through her treatment. He also dedicated his time to advocating for medical ethics reform, speaking out against the dangers of unchecked greed in the medical field. Through his efforts, Alex slowly began to rebuild his life. He performed community services, volunteered at hospitals, and shared his story with others, hoping to prevent similar tragedies. He knew he could never undo the harm he had caused, but he was determined to make amends. Alex's health gradually improved, and Alex's relationship with his daughter grew stronger. Alex's ex-wife saw the changes in him and acknowledged his effort to make things right. Although they could never go back to the way they were, they found a way to co-parent Alexis with mutual respect and understanding. Alex's journey from perpetrator to whistleblower was a difficult one, but it brought him a sense of redemption. He realized the importance of accountability and the true meaning of being a doctor. He had once been driven by greed, but now he was motivated by a desire to help others and make a positive impact on the world. One day, Alex received an invitation to speak at a prestigious medical school. As he prepared his speech, he reflected on his journey. He thought about the people he had hurt, the mistake he had made, and the redemption he had found. At the medical school, Alex stood before a large audience. He shared his story once more, emphasizing the importance of integrity and compassion in medicine. As he concluded, he posed a question to the audience. Think about your future. Think about the kind of doctor you want to be. Will you choose the path of greed and ambition, or will you choose the path of compassion and integrity? The choice is yours. The room was silent as the student pondered his word. Alex smiled, hoping that his question would inspire them to make the right choices. And Alex's journey wasn't just about overcoming obstacles. It was about learning and growing. It was about redemption and the power of change. As Alex looked around the room, his eyes meeting those of the eager young student, he saw the future in them, and it gave him hope. Learn from my mistake, he continued. Don't let greed or ambition cloud your judgment. Stay true to your principle and always put your patients first. As he finished his speech, the students erupted in applause. Alex stepped down from the podium, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. One thing is certain, he had come a long way from the man who once put his desires above his duty. He reflected on his journey while serving his sentence. And now, to us, my beautiful viewers, as you listen to this story, think about your own life. What kind of person do you want to be? How can you make a positive difference in the world? And remember, it's never too late to change and make things right. So what path will you choose? Think about it carefully. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to share the story with your family and your friends, and always ask questions about the medications prescribed to you. Till I see you again in my next story, I still remain Tales by Chika. Goodbye.